In today's healthcare landscape, one of the most pressing challenges we face is antimicrobial resistance, or AMR. AMR occurs when bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites evolve to resist the effects of drugs that once killed them or inhibited their growth.
The bacteria are smart. They change like this. They said, how do we survive this new, invader? So they keep changing. So it's just not always that you are overusing. In fact, it is the ability of the bacteria or viruses to change so rapidly, and they multiply so many times more than us. So they survive.
In India, around the early 2000s, doctors began noticing that common antibiotics were becoming less effective, and that raised alarms in the medical community. AMR can drastically affect how patients are treated, but how does it impact day-to-day clinical practices?
Now, ILBS, which is dedicated liver university, we get patients who are mainly with liver disease. AMR is very common, and especially for those who have been drinking alcohol. Patients generally referred from other hospitals because we are quaternary hospital. Those who are referred from other hospitals have received almost every drug. What can you do? So my sense is that you are helpless at a time as a specialist, that the patients who have been treated and have not improved, उनका तो ये हाल है कि यार सारी दवाइयाँ, बल्कि पैसे भी खत्म हो जाते हैं और दवाइयाँ की लिस्ट भी खत्म हो जाती है.
Given that many people consume alcohol socially or for other reasons, how does drinking alcohol add to the issue of AMR, particularly in terms of the effectiveness of the medication and any potential side effects?
Alcohol causes production of certain endotoxins. It changes the bacteria. It decreases your bile acids. It decreases short chain fatty acid. Remember this term, short chain fatty acid. Short chain fatty acid makes your intestine very, very strong. In the intestine, you have 1.5 kilogram of bacteria. But they are your good friends. Now, when you drink alcohol, your bowel becomes leaky. And these bacteria which were sitting quietly can pass the intestinal barrier. Then they get into your blood and you get infection.
AMR can be life-threatening. In surgical cases, for example, infections that would normally be treatable become severe and harder to manage. This not only affects the patient's recovery, but also has emotional and financial repercussions on their families. Now, the question arises, are some infections more resistant than others? And with respect to current medical infrastructure in India, what are some of the most pressing issues?
Pharma does not want to put into money into this because they know after 5 years they'll again be resistant, so their drug will not be. So what the US government does generally is to provide money to the pharma, incentives to have new drugs to be developed. They want them to research on it. I think the government of India should also do. We are using generic drugs. Now the generic drugs, who is maintaining the quality? And especially of antibiotics, if you are using the antibiotic and it is not as effective as it should be, then the bugs will become resistant. So my thought is low and middle income countries have greater challenges, and also the usage in the fertilizers, usage in the veterinary system, usage in the production of veg and fruits. So I think over usage of antibiotics in that also gives you the genes of resistance in the bacteria. Then next is, suppose you have a resistance and you are being have your mother or brother is looking after you, so you will transmit to the healthcare support family members. Now if they get infection, now they are already colonized the resistant bacteria in their system. You are breathing out bacteria which are resistant, and your attendants may have such bacteria. So in that situation, I think not only the patient suffers, but the patient also can create an environment, a universe around him in the family which can have resistant bugs.